Welcome to another episode of the Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev. Thank you guys for tuning in to us once again. Happy July 4th weekend, Independence Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your time with your friends and your family. But listen, y'all, do not be in your backyard popping black cats and shooting off Roman candles and all that kind of crap. We value you and we don't want you to hurt yourself, end up dead, or in jail.
Yeah, because the popos will be out. You're out there firing off black cats, and they're firing off 9mm shells at you. So let's not go that route.
No,
okay?
We don't.
Stay safe.
Yes, please do that. So with that said, let's get into the show. We are reviewing the film Escobar, Paradise Lost for you. It's rated R, has a runtime of 2 hours. This is a romance/thriller. In Colombia, a young Canadian meets a beautiful local he falls in love with. It's just one catch, Kev.
Yeah.
She happens to be the niece of Pablo Escobar.
Pablito.
Damn!
All right, this movie was directed by Andrea De Stefano in her feature film debut. It stars Benicio Del Toro, who is excellent normally in anything that he's in.
It's good.
Josh Hutchinson from The Hunger Games is in this film. He plays Nico or Nick. And Claudia Traisac, who I believe this is her first American film. She plays Maria.
Yeah.
Okay. So, having said that, anyone who's ever heard the name Pablo Escobar is undoubtedly familiar with all of the crimes and atrocities that he is credited with having committed as the leader of the Colombian drug cartel. This film asks us to envision what would it be like to join Pablo's family. Okay, what would it be like to join Pablo's family? Imagine, or think of who your craziest in-law is. Okay, and then imagine that in-law as a sociopathic killer. Okay, then you might have some idea of what this movie's about.
Yeah, well said, Kev. I think you summed that up perfectly. And now I must admit, y'all, and maybe this is just my ignorance, but I didn't know a whole lot going into seeing this film, Kev.
Okay.
Now. Title being Escobar, seeing the movie poster, and it's a big picture of Pablo on that. I thought this film was about Pablo,
right?
But that's not the case. As Kev said, it is more so about what would it have been like to be in his family. And, while I felt it was a little bait and switch.
Yeah, it would be a comedy in somebody else's hands, but
right.
Here it's a drama.
Yeah, it is a drama, a thriller going on. And, while on one side I felt like a little bit of a bait and switch there, I must admit I was pleasantly surprised, Kev, because at the end of the day, I felt like we really got a story here. And I enjoyed this film, ultimately.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed by the acting in this film. I mean, I felt like Del Toro possesses a quiet menace in this film. Anytime he's on the screen, you expect that something ill is going to pop off.
Yeah.
Okay, whether it does or not, you just really expect it. Josh Hutcherson was really kind of a surprise. I really did not expect the performance out of him that we got.
Yeah. Who knew Peter could act? Now, who in the hell is Peter? I'm talking about the character from The Hunger Games who Josh Hutcherson plays. And, I'll be careful saying that film title, Kev. It's like Beetlejuice. If I say it too many times, they'll make another one.
Exactly.
And I don't want to go there right now. But Josh Hutcherson did a great job in this film. I'm joking about it, but in truth, I really did not know he had the kind of acting chops that he really has.
And you can tell he dives into this full force in order to try to, I think, prove that he can
really
actually
prepare
do
for this
more
role.
than
And
he
you
does.
see a wide range of emotion and just that comes with the territory of this character that he portrays in the film. But man, he did a great job. I really enjoyed this guy in the film. And to your point earlier with Benicio playing Pablo, the cool thing is that this film really gets to play on the reputation of the Pablo Escobar, the real man, in that they don't have to get into so many violent acts taking place. Like you said, when Benicio comes on the screen, you're just at the edge of your seat because you don't know what he's going to do because of you're expecting him to just go off at any moment.
Right. The movie does really kind of rely on your understanding of who Pablo Escobar is.
Yeah.
The only criticism that I have is that if you don't know who Pablo Escobar was, you may be kind of lost or at a loss for who he was or what he was capable of.
I'll give you that.
As great as the acting is in this film, I feel like the story is where this film falters a little bit. Like I mentioned before, you've got the title, Escobar. You've got the subtitle, Paradise Lost, okay? You've got two separate movies going on here. You've got the Pablo Escobar story going on, and then you've got the Paradise Lost story going on. And you some would just say, okay, that's just subplot. But for me, the Paradise Lost aspect actually takes center stage and is the more compelling story out of the two, even though Del Toro is so great in what he does. This movie really depends on the Paradise Lost aspect, which is really driven by Josh Hutcherson, and I feel like he does a good job with it. But for me, I expected a little bit more Pablo Escobar. And maybe that's just my problem for carrying in preconceptions about killing Pablo that made me expect, to see something, much more Shakespearean going on.
Yeah, and maybe just the marketing machine maybe got in the way of this a little bit to say, hey, how can we best market this film?
Right.
We got to go with the name, and that's what they did. But, and still, I feel a little bit differently than you, Kevin, that I thought the stories kind of blended well together, and it worked for me, and really gave me a chance to kind of think about that and kind of see that perspective of one inside of the Escobar family while all of this turmoil is going on. It's interesting in the film, you keep hearing Pablo's character constantly say, everything that I do is for my family and for my community. Yeah, you see all of this turmoil and all of these things happening. And so it was good for me to see. And
Michael Corleone does the same thing in The Godfather, but we got to actually see him commit a lot of these atrocious acts and a lot of these things that he became so fearful for.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that movie does that this one doesn't do. Unless you know who Pablo was and what he was capable of, you may not really understand why he's so feared in this movie or why you should fear him.
Yeah. Let's set up some points on this thing, Kev.
Okay, let's do it.
Hey, guys, for me, again, I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised, and ultimately, I really enjoyed this film. It's a good film. The acting is great. I think there's a good story here. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. And that's fair. I mean, I agree with Ant. There is some story here. There's a semblance of a story here. I just feel like it kind of goes off track and becomes a little bit of a schism between the two stories that they try to meld together. The acting is outstanding. The direction is very well done. The story, again, needs a little bit of work, I think. I once read Mark Bowden's Killing Pablo, which may be to my discredit because I think I brought that into the theater with me, expecting something along those lines, which is what I didn't get. For a movie entitled Escobar, there's not really as much Pablo Escobar in it as you would expect. And I did not expect that when Pablo does show up, he's more like Santa Claus. If Santa Claus ordered his elves to go out and kill people.
Little elves walking around with machetes.
There you go, machetes and machine guns. I give this movie a 6 out of 10, folks.
Okay. You got a 6 from Kev, you got an 8 from me. You guys decide. Thank you for joining us once again. Be sure to like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Brothers.
Yep, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, y'all. Enjoy your 4th. Enjoy your friends and family. And
safely.
Listen. Yes, safely. And one more thing. If you don't know who made the potato salad, don't eat it. Okay? We are The Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev. This is the place, the one and only place where we bring you nothing but the real on the real. Peace.